is the way. This is the way.
This week we get another view of what the galaxy is shaping up to be under the Empire. So let's dive into Season 2, Episode 10 of the Bad Batch titled Retrieval. Before we get into it, if you're a fan of our videos, please like our content and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out and gives us the opportunity to create more content for you. Okay, let's get into it. So this week we pick up with our Bad Batch crew trying to fix up a speeder bike to try and make it to the next town when Omega gets an idea to track Gonki, who is still on the Marauder. We then cut to the thief, who we find out is named Benny, who pilots the ship back to a mine run by a controlling and greedy leader named Mako. With Benny earning a ration of water, we find that things are pretty dire for the workers in this mine, who appear to be mostly children. Now, I did originally have a theory that the abandoned spaceport would be due to the Empire taking all the citizens into slavery somewhere on the planet to harvest the Ipsium. But it seems that the planet is just barely getting by without a government. Mako is able to take advantage of this power vacuum, and essentially he is using these kids as slave labor. Later on in the episode, we see Mako engorging on a feast right before he rations out soup to these children, giving his top earner a full bowl. Now the Bad Batch track down Gonki, and Benny willingly helps out our team to try and get their ship back. First by showing them where it is, then by taking Omega up to deactivate the ray shields. And when they finally arrive at the tower, Benny learns that Mako has been lying about how the Ipsium has been degrading. But to no surprise, Benny sets Omega up to be caught by Mako. They have a standoff, and the young miners turn on Mako when they find out he has been lying to them, and Hunter saves Omega. Then the Bad Batch get the Marauder back, and Omega comments to Tech that the Empire isn't the only threat in the galaxy, showing her all of the injustices that are now able to run rampant in all the worlds that they visit. And Tech responds by saying there are others like them in the galaxy willing to fight for what's right, leaving things on a hopeful note. All in all, this wasn't my favorite episode, but the point of this episode was to show Omega that there's more problems out in the galaxy besides the Empire, and that's why it's important for them to stand up and fight. I feel like they could have truncated this episode and added it to last week's episode, bring it down to 15 minutes and make last week's episode 45. Instead, it just feels like more filler, and I want to see more about Echo, Rex, Crosshair, and what's going on Mount Tantus, which the showrunner Brad Rao has mentioned will get explored this season. With so much exciting threads they can pull on, it almost feels like a waste to have an episode like this a little over halfway through the season. So for my rating, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. This is currently my least favorite episode of the season, and for me, it missed the mark, and I hope we get the better story arc next week that starts to build towards the overall narrative of the season. So thanks for joining me today on Fatherly Fandom, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And from our families to yours, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.